It's time now for County-Wide, a special presentation of Yavapai Broadcasting News. Join Paul David and Brad Miller as they talk with our community's leaders, newsmakers, and people in the know. You'll hear about the hot topics that affect all our lives here in Yavapai County. And now, here's today's County-Wide.
Well, good day and welcome to the program. It is County-Wide and a fun one today. Sometimes we get serious on this program. Sometimes we have fun, and today's going to be a little fun, but also somewhat serious. And I'll tell you what I'm talking about. Our guest today, Linda Buchanan, is here. Linda's the Community Education Coordinator with Yavapai College. And the Viticulture and Enology Program Director there is Nikki Check, also Mayor of Jerome.
Indeed.
How do you find time to come and talk to Brad and County-Wide and our audience?
Well, I prioritize. You guys are important.
Busy here. Lady. Well, we appreciate that. We're going to have, when I say we're going to have some fun today, we're talking wine. Don't we think fun when we talk wine, Linda?
We do. We
All
do
right.
think fun. It's probably one of the most fun programs that we have at Yavapai College, but it's also deeply rooted in science. It's the science of growing grapes and the science of making wine. So it does.
And that science is alive and well in the Verde Valley.
It is.
Anyone who's been paying any attention at all will know that in the last just number of years, it seems, there's a deeper, longer history of winemaking in this area than even I realize, as our guest might help us illustrate here on the show. But certainly in the last decade or so, it has taken off.
It absolutely
And toward that end, Yavapai College plans to play an even bigger role in what is happening. Recently, the college introduced a campaign for the Southwest Wine Center.
Correct.
This will be, well, you tell me what it's going to be.
Well, it's going to be a teaching winery on our Verde Valley campus in Clarkdale. And Nikki is the program director, as you introduced her. And we already have a program up and running with classes in both the viticulture and the enology, certificate and degree programs underway. But with this $3 million campaign that we've launched, we are going to be able to actually build out the teaching winery, and we hope to be breaking ground by summer of 2013. Yeah. There's a real strong private fundraising component to that success that we're looking towards, and it's well underway, but I'd be glad to talk specifics about it. I don't know if you want.
Well, yeah, I want to describe what it is,
okay.
And then people, as we kind of learn about this, I think will become involved as this campaign moves forward. And we'll track it. You know, a year from now, we'll be sharing
Absolutely.
a glass of wine, and we'll be talking about the groundbreaking. But to me, the most important element of this is what it brings. The program already at Yavapai College, what the new, what this newly designed facility will bring, the bricks and mortar part of it. But just to me, just winemaking in and of itself, what it's done in the Verde Valley in the last, say, 10 or so years. Nikki, why don't you, if you could share just a tiny bit of history. You said there's been winemaking around here for decades.
History is a good place to start because it really is a part of our current story. The Verde Valley is, within Yavapai County, definitively one of the best places to grow grapes, and the established mine in Jerome and Clarkdale brought a lot of European workers. And so they clearly knew from, 100 years ago that grapes were meant to grow here. And a lot of the hills were slated to be put into vineyards pre-Prohibition. So we actually have remnant varietals that were planted in the Verde Valley, in the 1800s. Yeah. So that's part of the problem. And then Arizona never really came out of Prohibition. Until the 80s, it wasn't legal to produce more than 200 gallons of wine. They got that cleared up, and then we had an issue with direct distribution, selling wine from tasting rooms, and that wasn't cleared up until a 2005 piece of legislation went through. And so really this big growth that we're seeing from 2006 on really is to do with our history.
Was there kind of resistance to this becoming an industry for Arizona, or was it just the times were behind what people started to realize was a growth mechanism for this area?
Well, being the mayor of Jerome, I know that the policy is a complaint-based system, and so we didn't, want to change anything until we heard enough complaints.
Okay, so but
anything with legislation is going to move awkwardly in Arizona, it seems. But what we did through the Yavapai College Foundation, we had 20 acres that the college foundation owned, and after a tremendous amount of brainstorming, meeting with the industry players, people that were already making wine here in the Verde Valley and selling, building their reputation, we were able to, as a foundation, commit to donating that land to this particular program. So as recently as May of this year, we've got another couple acres planted, and that was a big piece of community involvement. We had people from every one of the communities and all over the state, and some from out of state, that came to the Verde Valley campus to help us plant vines. And
sure. Well, I want to ask, why the Verde Valley? I mean, Yavapai College and the Clarkdale campus, that's obvious. But if I can just step back just a tiny bit to, I guess it's just you grow what can grow where you want to grow it. In Illinois, you can grow corn, so you grow corn.
Right. I think they grow grapes in Illinois, too.
They do.
But as far as fine wine varietals, they have a very specific temperature range that they can kind of endure winter temperatures mostly.
Sure.
And that's mostly the limiting factor in Yavapai County and in Arizona. You don't want to see temperatures much below 10 degrees in January and December.
Okay.
So that's mostly what's been limiting. I mean, people have tried it out in other spots, and I think it's just been a little bit more difficult. It's not impossible to have a wine industry in other places, but the Verde Valley is most conducive.
Just the idea of the sustainability of this, and we've talked about that and wondered about that, we being folks in the Verde Valley in our area. What can we do? We've got our tourist attractions, certainly. We've got our natural wonders, and I guess winemaking would be a natural wonder in a way. But this certainly seems like, it just seems so tailor-made.
It's sustainable on so many levels. The economic impact is just amazing because you have the crop base, but also the finished product. It's exporting, and so you're bringing new money into Arizona, and the capital investment in these vineyards is just extraordinary. The studies that University of Arizona and Northern Arizona University have produced in the last couple of years indicate that this will be an impact in excess of $55 million before 2015. And I think we're ahead of the growth pattern that they projected. But that's one of the things that a community college does, is be able to be very responsive to the workforce and the employment needs that are dictated by the community. So as Nikki pointed out, had a rather rapid rise from the time that it became legal to where we're at today with it. And so the community college was able to move so quickly to create this curriculum and begin training people that have gone right to work in our vineyards. But it's also modeling what will be done throughout the Southwest. And grapes are a funny crop. They like to be, not to knock on this quality place we live, but they like what could be considered poor soil, low water conditions. Stressing them is actually a really good thing for them. And I'll let Nikki talk about
it. Oh, if we got a place for you, great.
Yeah, you don't have to try very hard.
Along that, I want to come to that, but what you were talking about is, we've talked many times about Yavapai College and kind of being able to shape the time and the place and what students are going to want and what communities are going to need. And this is right in the middle of that. But I get that too, not just from the college, but from the individual campuses. Now with the Southwest Wine Center, we're going to see that Clarkdale, the Verde Valley. I think about like Chino Valley. I know there's a strong ranching, equestrian program, and so on. And is that further illustrate what you're talking about trying to kind of fit?
Absolutely. This program will be central to the Verde Valley campus here in Clarkdale, and it's the formal name of it, Southwest Wine Center at Yavapai College. It's already drawing students from all over the state. They drive up here for the classes on any particular evening, and they're doing their practicum work out in the field or in the wineries here, and it's just this incredible economic opportunities. So in our efforts to launch the capital campaign, we're both being responsive to the community need, but also leading a tremendous opportunity. And we have almost $900,000 that's already come in one way, shape, or form. I hope Nikki will talk about our National Science Foundation grants and how this ties into
let's do
high
that.
school.
When we come back, we need to take a little break. So let's do that. We'll talk a little dollars and cents. Do you need, again, how much?
We want $3 million to build out the entire program, but we can break ground this spring if we
within the year.
If we reach the $1.5 million.
Southwest Wine Center at Yavapai College. We'll take a short break. Nikki Check and Linda Buchanan are our guests today, and we're back right after this.
So, I'm kind of new here, but I've noticed a trend. My human does this funny thing where she goes around and gets all my toys, and then she hides them in that basket by the door. But it's always the same basket, and it's always in the same place. And then she acts so surprised when I find them, but, she's putting them in the same basket. Again. It's like, hello, that's where you put it last time. You were the worst at hide and go seek.
I was in junior high the first time I caught my mom using denial. She had to have known her painkillers were missing because I kept stealing them. Her denial was so out of hand.
So she doesn't even know? I'm going out.
It was like I could get away with anything.
You kids have fun.
And that was when I knew. When she was addicted to denial.
Denial is a drug. Get help. The partnership at drugfree.org.
So, same time next week?
Well, of course. Put away a few bucks, feel like $1 million. For free tips to help you save, go to Feed the Pig.
Now, some action from the courts. Billie Jean King renewing her rivalry with Arthritis. First set, furious volley, and right to the net for a winner. Beautiful forehand there. Arthritis, stunned. And here, match point. Billie Jean with the ace, taking it in straight sets. Afterwards, a jubilant Billie Jean King.
Tennis is a weapon for me with arthritis. There's nothing like it for me to hit a ball, run to the ball, anytime, any court. I'm ready. Let's go.
What's your weapon against arthritis? Find out at fightarthritispain.org.
Again, welcome back to the program, Countywide today, and Linda Buchanan, Nikki Check. Southwest Wine Center at Yavapai College is a campaign that is underway, looking within the year to make this the bricks and mortar piece of this. The program's already in existence and is in fact headed by Nikki Check. I assume the program will expand when this facility comes, and tell me how. Or how that'll play into it. And what is this facility going to give you that you don't have now?
Right. Well, kind of going back to the history and kind of starting this industry off in 2006, jumping forward only 6 years, we've grown so much, and there definitely are growing pains associated with this rapidly increasing industry. So Yavapai College kind of hopes to be to ease those growing pains through doing some experiential research on campus. So we're planting our 20-acre parcel that was donated by the foundation to varietals that look really promising for Arizona in particular, and translating that also into the cellar, because different varietals act really different in the cellar. And so I think the larger piece of what we're doing with the Southwest Wine Center is becoming an informational resource to help support this industry. Okay. So that's going to be an important piece that we don't have right now.
Well, I'm assuming this will be a start to finish kind of thing, that there'll be an actual product that emerges from this. It seems like as educators, you would go out and say plant something that probably will fail to learn what you can learn from that. I mean, will that be,
Yes.
Do you do it that way?
Well, we planted 3 acres this spring, and I planted 2 that I know are going to grow great, and 1 I'm not so sure about.
Yeah, but I guess those are the kinds of things that you would need to look at to round out the education of those that are enrolled. How big is the program in terms of enrollment in a, term?
We have about 47 students enrolled in the program right now. You know, and we have vines in the ground, and we do have some experiential education there for them. We incorporate a practicum, so they are actually spending time in the wine making community with professionals. But I think we stand to double our student enrollment with this program.
Is that right? Okay. And when these students graduate, they will go on to do what?
Many of them get jobs right in the field. Another thing that I'm really proud of is that we're not only producing skilled laborers, but we are also producing skilled entrepreneurs. A lot of these students who are running through this class plan to plant their own vineyards and make their own wine.
Sure. That's what I was saying.
One of the ways that the community can participate in and celebrate the success with us is by actually adopting a vine. For $20, you can adopt a
vine.
You can adopt a vine, but you can, if your intent and your philanthropy is more expansive than that, you can adopt half a row or an entire row. So
now I want all the wine from that vine.
Brad, we can't give you the wine from it. That's part of our instructional supplies, actually.
So,
all right.
But what we've done, we've worked with an architect by the name of Joe Chauncey out of Seattle, Washington, Boxwood Associates, and he's just been an amazing resource for the college. He does incredible winery projects around the country, and we had an old racquetball court at Yavapai College that was not being utilized to its fullest potential, and he took that structure and repurposed it as our teaching winery. So he took these great bones of solid concrete walls and smooth finish, and each of those 4 racquetball courts will become an elemental part of the teaching winery, but it's designed to be a zero energy facility. It's got an expansive roof space which will allow for water harvesting and photovoltaics over a shaded parking area. It's designed with daylight and outdoor workspaces that will just be amazingly cooled and made comfortable by the design components of Boxwood Associates. So it's sustainable from the ground up. We're planting this crop that has an incredibly long lifetime, and we've repurposed this building. It's truly, I think, the most significant investment that Yavapai College is making in the Verde Valley since we launched the college.
I was going to ask you about that.
40-some years ago.
This seems to be a real major play.
It is major. And you know, when we started the college 45 years ago, that was before I actually lived in the Verde Valley. But I know the history was that these families in the Verde Valley stepped up and helped make this place possible for us in this institution. And over the years, as you meet people, it's hard to find anybody living here whose life hasn't been touched by the college. So this is a way for the whole community to come together again and just do something amazing for our economy, the place we live.
And as you were talking, same thing was occurring to me. You're talking about planting a crop. You're planting ideas in students' minds, repurposing, taking kind of what was old and unused, making it into something vital.
Right.
And I don't want to and make that analogous to the Verde Valley itself, but certainly bringing in something new that kind of sort of has been around, but is now taking off and is in a position to take off and pushing that, feeding that the way you need to.
There's so much new at Yavapai College in the Verde Valley campus right now. We've just gone under this multi-million-dollar refurbishing project, and the whole campus. We still have hard hats and construction zones, but they got us back into our classrooms for the start of semester, and by early November, we're going to be throwing the doors open and having a special celebration on campus for people to come see everything that's been accomplished. But this is, the Southwest Wine Center is a shining star, and it absolutely has investment opportunities for both the public and the private sector, and we need both.
We need to take a break. Let's talk about that when we come back.
Okay.
We've got a few minutes when we come back to wrap up, so let's do that. How can you get involved, and to what extent? Sounds like quite a few ways. Linda Buchanan, Nikki Check, our guest today. We'll be back right after this.
Having a fire escape plan is very important to keep your family safe and together in the event of a fire. When you awake to the sound of a smoke detector and smoke in your room, don't stand straight up. Carefully roll off your bed and stay low under the smoke. If your door is shut, feel the door with the back of your hand. Slowly open the door if no heat is felt. Always stay low until you get to the outside of your home. Always have 2 ways out of your house and a specified meeting place somewhere outside your home. Home escape plans should be drawn up and rehearsed on a regular basis. This could be the difference between life and death if caught in a fire.
Yes, ready?
Oh, come on, Randy. Animal shelter, here I come. And no, I'm not crazy or emotionally damaged. That's a stereotype. I just belong to a total loser. I'm a good dog. So if you want a pet, adopt. And if you see Randy, tell him he dropped his wallet.
Fire can happen at any time. What would you try to save?
My family photos.
My grandfather's war memorabilia.
My dogs.
I'm firefighter Brandon Wacker with the Cotton Fire Department. A working smoke detector is your best defense in the event of a fire. Make sure you have a smoke detector in every room except your kitchen. Test them monthly and change the battery once a year. Take the time to save the things you can't replace.
It's easy to tell if you've had way too many. But what if you've had just one too many? Buzz driving is drunk driving.
Welcome back to the program, our final brief segment here. Nikki Check, Linda Buchanan today. Nikki's, I'm going to say it one more time and try to get it right, Viticulture and Enology Program Director. Can I just say the Director of the Wine Program over at the college? All right, Community Education Coordinator. That I can say. We thank you for coming in and talking with us today. Let's kind of leave folks, we mentioned before the break about how you can become involved, whatever those resources may be financially. Certainly you need that. Tell me about that.
Well, I would just like to make a direct appeal to our community to get involved at this time. Many already are. I mentioned the Adopt a Vine program, and we have hundreds of vines that have been adopted. That's great fun. But just to really reinforce how important this is, we have this cover story, Teaching Winery in Arizona, and this is in the current issue of Vines and Wines, which is the industry magazine at a national scale, and it talks about this amazing project that we have. We can welcome and accept levels of support, whatever is right for the donor. We have naming opportunities for classrooms. You can become a part of our Founders Wall, which is what we call visionary giving, set in copper and stone. That's a $5,000 commitment. There will only be 100 of those sold throughout the project, and we are started. We're underway with that. So,
folks that are interested in doing that, I guess should contact you, or
absolutely.
How do they go about that? Okay.
Yes. May I give my phone number?
Absolutely.
Okay, 928-634-6530.
Okay, that's how you find out more about it. And we'll chat with you too further down the line.
Thank you.
I love the Adopt a Vine thing, and Nikki, you were saying folks come out and visit their vines.
Oh, they do, and they don't even know me. They're like, oh, we're here to visit our vines. Excuse us.
We came to see Vinny and Winnie this weekend. So, all right, ladies, thank you very much. An exciting program, an exciting new chapter for Yavapai College, the Southwest Wine Center. We'll follow it along as it becomes more and more of a reality. Our guests, Nikki Check and Linda Buchanan. It's Countywide. We'll see you next time.
This has been Countywide, a special presentation of Yavapai Broadcasting News. Listen in each Tuesday and Thursday as we tackle the hot topics and talk to the decision makers across Yavapai County. That's Countywide with Brad Miller and Paul David each Tuesday and Thursday on this Yavapai Broadcasting station.